Okay, our first action item will come to us from our very own Shane Stack.
Good morning, commissioners. The first item is a change order, and I've shared my screen. Hopefully, you guys can see the aerial view of Lolo.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So the ARPA-funded Lolo Water System Improvement Project, to kind of give you a quick reminder, we were adding water lines along Lewis and Clark and Farm Lane, and then we made this connection on Tyler Way. And then there was some replacement of some of these older lines on Glacier Drive. And so throughout this project, and we're just about done, they've got some pressure reducing valves to place. I think there's only 3 left. So we may have one more change order, but as we've gone through this project, we've actually done what are called change proposals, and we've been approving those along the lines with just the idea of having 1 or 2 larger change orders. So this first change order is just an accumulation of the smaller change proposals that have been created throughout the project, and the scope of those change proposals varies. If you recall, I actually brought a change proposal to you earlier this summer for this segment of Glacier Drive. The scope actually didn't include this portion, and we needed to realign all of this water line underneath and add I think a PRV on that segment too. And that change was about $34,000. That was the biggest change out of the entire project. The rest of them are probably accumulation of smaller, just connections are different, or the pipes are different than planned. So the contractor's coming in with he's acquired like a 6-inch pipe that may connect to a 4-inch pipe. Well, the connection isn't what they originally had estimated in being in the ground. So there's a lot of those little changes that had to occur. And then another kind of larger one was as they were doing the back T testing. So they've got to fill up these water lines once they get them in place, and then they test them for various forms of microorganisms to make sure that nothing is in those water lines before they open it up to the public. And they had some challenges with that, and so that was ended up being around a $10,000 additional cost just to get some of these to pass. So, but for the most part, they were just a accumulation of smaller changes to the project. The total is $100,000 or $105,000. Well within our budget. We're still going to have a positive balance at the end of all of this. I think we're sitting around probably around $50,000 positive, that we're going to add a little bit of scope somewhere. We're looking at adding a SCADA system as kind of that final piece of scope. So anyway, there's the kind of the background on the $100,000 change order.
All right, thanks. I would move that we approve the change order. All right, do we have any public comment on this? I'll second, and all in favor. All right. Thanks, Shane.
Thanks, Shane.
Thank you.
Jackson.
Yeah, good morning, commissioners. Before you today is a contract addendum with the state for the recreational trails program. The reason being is we've seen a rise in material costs, and also the nature of how we are going to go through with the project has changed, where we're looking at a partnership agreement with Missoula College. So the gist is we need to amend the scope to take away interpretive signage and move that budget allocation towards trail construction. And then the other piece is we'll be doing the material procurement ourselves. So this is just a procedural step with the state to get us in line for contract for your consideration with Missoula College. And we're setting up this. We have this agenda item, and the next week we'll bring the PSA forward. And if that moves through, then construction activities at New Meadows Park will start this fall.
Yes,
Been a long time in the works.
yeah.
I would move that we approve the contract addendum.
I'll second that. Ask for any public comment. Okay, seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Thanks, Jackson.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Aaron.
Good morning, everyone.
Oh,
I am requesting the commissioners to approve these public school budgets. You should have the mill levy changes in front of you. And what you'll notice is that most districts saw a significant decrease in the number of mills that they need to levy, but that is simply a result of the significant increase in taxable values. So it's not anything to write home about because, of course, taxpayers are still paying a significant increase in property taxes.
yeah.
Any questions?
I was gonna ask a question, but I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just asking you if you had any
Okay,
questions,
yeah.
so go for it.
Are there any changes in enrollment that are worthy of note?
I don't have that data yet because count day
Okay.
isn't until October. So
Oh, I'm
I can
sorry.
certainly get back to you on that.
Yeah.
I'm in the process of entering, for example, the homeschool notifications, which keep coming in at a rapid pace. And then when it comes to this public and private school enrollments, we won't have those numbers finalized till towards the end of October.
Okay. I was just wondering about that because of the role of the other money that helps fund schools that don't come from property taxes.
Right, exactly, the per pupil expenditure.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we will have more information and you'll be able to see the comparison between years as well. So I
Great.
can just put it in my calendar to get you that information, the enrollment
Yeah,
data.
that
It's
would
of course
be
great.
always
That would be
uploaded on
awesome.
our website, but we'll make sure to send it to you when it's available. But don't expect it till the end of October.
No worries. Do you think sending it is great, but do you think you could jump in on a meeting and kind of talk us through it?
Oh, I mean, I can if there's anything of significance. I mean, I'm not anticipating any significant changes in enrollment by district or even by homeschool. We had a huge increase in homeschool numbers during the pandemic, but then last year we saw numbers decrease to pre-pandemic levels. I have no idea what this year's going to look like. The OPI is instituting a new method for us to upload our homeschool database, and so it slowed us down in getting that information put into a digital format. And I just basically have a whole bunch of forms like this in front of me that I am entering one by one. I've got about 12 entered so far. I've got a long way to go.
Well, how about we just leave it up to you? If you think there are trends of note and worthy of conversation, please join us and help talk us through it. And if there's not, then don't waste your time.
Okay, sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did we pass that?
We have not. I would move that we authorize the chair to sign the budgets.
Second.
All right, any public comment? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you.
Adrian.
Good morning, Commissioners. This next item is a service contract with Ladress Technologies, Inc. If you will recall, last year, we were approved to kind of seek out some evacuation planning and kind of ground truthing some of our assumptions around evacuation using a lot of new software that is available. Over the course of the last year, we've been kind of actively looking at multiple versions of different types of software. Almost all of them utilize artificial intelligence to help predict human behavior. But we've settled on Ladress for a couple reasons. One, its simplicity. It's very similar to software that traffic engineers use when they do traffic studies. But it also has the increased benefit in that we can put future development into the models and help run those. So when we see new subdivisions being platted, we can take a look and see what those impacts would be based on the density and the proposed road networks. Our intended uses of this are primarily going to be within our office and kind of our key stakeholders in law enforcement. Again, kind of trying to ground truth some of our assumptions in areas where we know that we're going to have evacuation issues. But then ultimately, it will become a tool for us to help engage the community in doing exercises kind of in real time using this software without actually having to get people out on the road. So we're excited about it.
Awesome.
How much is it ongoing after this first year?
So we're doing this first year because I think in this first year, we're going to be able to learn a lot more about the software and determine what type of support we would need going forward. So about half of that cost of the contract for this first year is the training and support to get us up to speed and how to run the models. So I can't answer that right now because there's a whole suite of kind of software support options that are available, but we anticipate that it will be less going forward.
Great, thank you. Oh, and you have any other? I request that the chair sign the contract and service agreement with Ladris.
Second.
Any public comment? In favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, Eric.
Good morning. I think this first one is our annual striping contract. So the past few years, we haven't had a lot of luck with epoxy paint from a state approved contractor. They just don't like fitting us in with our $45,000 or $50,000 worth of work compared to their hundreds or millions of dollars that they're getting paid by the state. So we conducted a limited solicitation. Got a response from Highmark Traffic Services, who we have worked with many years in the past, and they are able to fit us in still here towards the end of the year. And it's pretty short list of roads, but ones that we see need to be striped this year.
Awesome.
All right, I would move that we authorize the chair to sign the sorry, wrong one. I move that we approve the PSA.
Second.
Any public comment? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thanks.
Thanks, Eric.
Stop myself from making striping puns right there. Got another one.
Make some dustbuster puns now.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
dust abatement time.
It is. Well, we got it done back in July, and when we received the invoice, realized that we had gone over our contract amount by a fair amount. But that was good news. It wasn't on our program that we went over. When we send out our bids in February and March, we have a list of private residents that participate in our share program, and we base our bid quantities off of what we think those residents are going to pay for. In the past several years, it's been about 65,000 feet or about 12 miles that residents pay for on their own outside of our program. So when we signed the agreement with Dustbusters, that was kind of our target. And fortunately, through the rest of the spring and even until we were actually applying the dust abatement in July, we had a lot of late additions to that. So ultimately, we ended up with 95,000 feet or 18 miles of shared program. So we had 6 miles more than we planned on, and the original agreement had a not to exceed amount of $185,000. So when this invoice came in, we realized that we needed to amend the contract for that extra material, and this is just an after the fact amendment to take care of that business.
I move to approve amendment number 1.
Okay. Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
Hey,
Lane is on a much deserved vacation.
Oh,
Wow, it's fantastic for him. So I'm happy to cover these items. Commissioners, the first item is the agreement with the Poverello Center for the operation of the Johnson Street Shelter. As you may recall.
this one we recall.
You probably know this one. The funding for this contract comes from a one-time remittance from funds from the MRA. And this is through October of 2024.
Not property tax dollars.
Not property tax. That's from anyone who doesn't live or pay property taxes inside the TIF district.
Correct.
Reno property taxes did not go towards this.
No, they've.
Correct.
I would move that we approve PSA.
Second.
Any public comment?
Oh,
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
And the next item.
We've got a hand up here.
Oh, sorry, Martin.
Go ahead.
Yep.
Sorry, guys, don't mean to slow your meeting down. Just real quick, I've asked some city folks about next year, given the ARPA money's done and your allocations one time. What happens next year? What steps are you guys taking, I guess, to consider this next year, and how would you fund it, if at all?
Great
Sorry, I
question.
know that's a
Yeah.
big question.
No worries.
So, hey, Martin, it's Chris.
We're all looking at Chris.
So the city and the county are meeting every couple of weeks here to kind of work through what next year will look like after October of that. Obviously, it'll be part of next year's budget discussions for the commissioners, but we are working to try and figure out what, if any, other available sources there might be, and that includes, grants at the federal or state level.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have any ideas, Martin?
There's no easy answer. Easy answer.
I don't. I've heard everything from Medicaid to a Poverello fundraiser, so.
Yeah, everything's on the table.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
And the next item is just the professional services agreement with Outback to provide toilets at the Johnson Street shelter. And as the variance to authorize this was approved at the health board last month.
Great. And we got whatever issues ironed out that we had last year with things freezing.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
I heard Dave did some good work at the health board.
We moved it right along.
Nice. Thanks.
I move to approve the PSA with Outback.
Second.
Any public comment on this? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks. We have one piece of correspondence.
And I believe that is Shannon's.
Correspondence is not me.
Oh.
Discussion is me.
Oh, Allison.
Is she on? He was gonna talk about this, but maybe not. Okay, well, it's just a letter of support for a grant that the CSKT are applying for. 93 pipe section, so.
Yes, thank you.
Hope we get the grant. Thanks for.
Now me.
Now you. I jumped ahead.
Okay, yes. So I almost didn't schedule this meeting because we've talked about bears so much, but then I realized there's a little more to it and you like to hear about it before a public hearing. And so the hearing is today. The first hearing is happening at the public meeting today. The health board approved a new version of what we call Regulation 3. It's solid waste management of the Missoula City County Health Code. They did that after 2 public hearings and comment periods, which Dave was part of. And that was approved on August 17th. And so now what we're doing is we're asking the city and the county to adopt them into each of their ordinances. Because now the legislature, as you recall, changed the rules so the health board doesn't have pure rulemaking authority under those things that are under their authority, but recommend changes to the city council and the county commissioners. So we're going to ask you to adopt a resolution that basically replaces the old Regulation 3 that you've already adopted with this new version of Regulation 3. And so at today's hearing, of course, I'm going to talk about bears. We talk a lot about bears that we've talked about before. And Jamie Jonkel joined me, and he'll talk about the bear situation in Missoula right now. What I'm not intending, unless you ask me to do it otherwise, is to go through all the changes in detail in Regulation 3, but do it kind of in a broadly, these are the kind of changes we're making, and try to really highlight theirs, which is the most substantial change. I don't know if I would call anything else really substantial, but it would take me about 5 minutes if you want me to go through that with you right now.
Is there anything that Martin needs, or would it be better just to do it this afternoon?
Martin's on.
Oh. So no.
There's nothing he needs.
Okay.
I'm personally happy with just the substantial.
Okay. Same. Okay.
Okay, and so I'm gonna go over it slightly today just to talk about the types of changes and give a few examples, but, and then we'll go into pretty detail about the bear zones. And so just as an FYI, I think Juanita knows, I'm not sure if you know, because we talked about it, that we have both the expanded Missoula Bear Buffer Zone and then the Potomac.
Which seems
Awesome.
years ago would have been impossible and just amazing and wonderful.
I was up in Potomac about a month ago. Going back up to the Copper Cliff Cafe, which is back there a ways. And there's a few of these, like dozens of garbage cans in specific areas. And this one spot, it was just an utter mess. These things have been hit by bears, tipped over, garbage everywhere. So this can come done too soon.
Yeah.
And good financial news, if I understand it right, that the new bear resistant cans don't really cost much more. So this isn't going to hurt.
Yeah, they cost about $5 or $10 more a month, but it's happening at a time when garbage rates are going down way more than that. So
the net is
lower.
Almost a break even.
It's way lower.
I am paying way less.
Way lower.
So maybe
Me too.
If it's okay to lean into that a little bit rather than it's going to cost you $5-10 just to push on the net.
Oh, we can do that. I think we both have similar experiences where it went from $135 a quarter to $70 with a bear resistant container.
Which is great.
That's significant.
That is significant.
We are all benefiting from the Shakespearean effects of competition
Yes,
with
we
the
are.
major garbage haulers.
Yes, we are. Yeah. Okay, well, that will be fun for this afternoon.
Well, that'll be great. Thanks. This is a victory. It's good stuff.
Yeah. And we had our first meeting with the city yesterday in the committee meeting. Their hearings are in October and yours will be done by October, but that's just, how it worked out.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Seems like very positive on the city side too.
Yeah. How could you not be? Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
She's wearing rose quartz, so it's all going to be positive.
Okay. And I do believe we're done unless anybody has anything else they'd like to talk about. We're all set. Thank you all.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I just like Carrie back.